John, the other day we heard from Drew Lock talk about these post-game conversations that he likes to have with you and how much he values those. I know you don't like to be another voice in his head, but what do you like about those post-game interviews or chats that you guys have?
Phil, I enjoy talking to Drew because he's a guy that sees a lot of things. He can repeat back what he sees. And I'm really, he's coached very well. Obviously, with Pat Shermer, Mike Shuley's coached very well, got good coaching. And so, as a player, I always remember a lot of people want to talk to you about different things. And sometimes it's an overload as far as information. So I'm always careful in what I tell Drew. I like to talk to him at a 10 to 20,000 foot level, kind of overall mentality, how to look at different games, not look at each certain play, but how to handle different things. And, he's a guy that's a competitive guy and played well against New England, obviously made some throws that he'd like to have back. But, that's part of the learning process and also part of him getting back into being sharp, having missed 3 games. So, I really enjoy it a lot. Drew's a sponge when it comes down to wanting to learn, wanting to get better. And that's why I'm really excited about his future.
Are those conversations pretty fiery? He said that the juices are still flowing after the game.
They are, and I think especially last week, and I think that he was upset, and thank God we won the football game. And I think he was really worried about it with the last couple of throws that he made that were intercepted, and so I think it was a big relief for him. So I think emotionally he was still engaged there, but was able to see him in the back of the locker room. And anytime you have games, I'll never forget those games that you have like that you're thankful that you win and think, oh my God, if we'd have lost this, we'd have been really in trouble. But and I think he still had those emotions. But like I said, I'm really excited about Drew still, and think he's got a chance to be a really, a great quarterback in this league for a long time.
One of the things he said he's been doing is watching other quarterbacks and learning how to avoid taking some big hits. When you were playing, how did you avoid taking some of those shots that are unnecessary?
Well, it's hard to avoid them in the pocket. I think that, with the new rules in the league, they've tried to do everything they can to protect the quarterback, obviously, because they're so important to the game. But I think, for him to get outside when you can protect yourself is when especially outside the pocket, that's when you can protect yourself. And so that's when he's got to be smart. But also there's a fine line that, I always believe the quarterback's job is to score touchdowns and pick up third downs. And sometimes you have to give up a little bit of the physical side to be able to make sure you get that first down.
When you're ready to buy a house, a mortgage from U.S. Bank could help make it possible. And we'll be with you every step of the way. See about pre-qualifying today. U.S. Bank, the power of possible.
Of course, a big game coming up this Sunday against the Chiefs. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio says that he thinks the Chiefs offense might be a little bit better this year than they even were last year. Is that what you're seeing too?
Well, they've got a lot of weapons. Edwards-Hilaire's come in. They drafted him at the end of the first round, and really a good back. And then they picked up Bell from the Jets. We'll see how ready he is to go. But they could really run. They got receivers. They feel that they understand that offense very well. Kelsey's as good as there is at tight end, and so got a lot of weapons. They do a good job up front as far as the offensive line. They can run the ball as well as throw it. So if you sit back and play pass, they'll run it at you, and then you get up to try to stop the run, and they can really make the big plays over the top. So very, very difficult team to defend. That's why it's so important that we take advantage of what we can offensively, make sure that when we get opportunities to make plays, we do make plays. And we can't afford to have 6 field goals this week. That's not going to get it done. We're going to have to score touchdowns this week.
One of the big questions on the defensive side is whether or not to blitz Patrick Mahomes. When you were playing, it always seemed like you could avoid that first guy and then hit a receiver down the field like 50 yards. What is it about when, a play breaks down like that makes a guy like Mahomes so dangerous?
Well, I think number one, he kind of likes getting outside because now all of a sudden he's a good enough athlete and he runs well enough that he can avoid people, get outside. It opens the field up for him. And he's got as much confidence in his arm and should have than anybody has because it's strong, it's accurate. He can go throw it anywhere on the field once he gets outside. So that's where he's very dangerous. And so, you get out there, then you give those receivers a chance to move around and find openings. They do a great job of that because they're getting used to Patrick. And then, the confidence level in which Patrick plays with is tremendous too. So that's why they're a handful. And, hopefully we can put our best game together this week.
They've won 9 in a row in this matchup. Obviously, it's a big rivalry. So what do you think a win would do for this Broncos team this Sunday?
Well, that's a depressing number, what you just told me right there. I know it wasn't very good, but that's very depressing. So, I mean, I think, it'd be good for us to realize that we can still compete with these guys. We have to play our best, but we can still compete with these guys. We have to be able to make plays. And so that's the mentality we have to go in with, and hopefully we can get it done.
All right, John, looking forward to the game Sunday. Appreciate your time.
All right, Phil, good talking to you.